Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today's the 31st of October 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session, and of course the last session of this month. So yeah, as always, guys, before we jump into the charts, quickly let's have a read through our risk disclaimers. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so also just before we jump in, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course, our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which you can always check out as well on a daily basis. And I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here, guys, for yourselves. So, yep, feel free to visit us. Yep, there we go. Like I said, there we go. The JFD research page. And yep, so like I said, feel free to visit us, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here. But for now, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So, looking at this index here, you can see that yesterday it had a nice run. It almost managed to reach this little downside resistance line taken from the high of the 16th of July, but it kind of right now today and this opening it's kind of started sliding again. So in a way, it's not really looking all that nice here. For now, of course, let's not ring the alarm bells yet. First, let's keep an eye, of course, on this downside resistance line, but also let's keep an eye on this little short-term, very short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 8th of October. So, if this upside line gets broken, then yep, of course, it increases the chances of a further move lower here, potentially maybe driving this the price driving to the this little area of support right here near the 26,715 territory. A nice drop below this could in a way also kind of increase the probability of a further decline. But for now, again, as I said, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. First, let's see how this is going to perform near this upside line, because it seems that we may see a hit of this upside line taken from the low of the 8th of October, very short term, very tentative one. If it holds, we could see a nice rebound and a push higher. But the only thing is that looking at this little picture here, ideally, well, we would like to see a push above this downside resistance line in order to consider a move higher, and of course, and not only a push above this downside resistance line, but also a push above the highs of September, the highest point of September, which is around the 27,306.7 zone. So a nice good pop above this could lead the index towards its previous all-time high. Now let's from the top three U.S. indices, Dow, S&P, and Nasdaq. Dow is the only one that hasn't reached a new all-time high. So unlike the S&P and the Nasdaq, of course. So again, it's a very tricky situation here for the Dow Jones, but we are at a very interesting spot. We are kind of stuck here in between these two lines. Keep your eyes on this one. If it starts dropping below this upside line, then in a way we could see a move towards the 26,714 zone around here. Of course, don't get me wrong, the psychological 27,000 level could play out as well as an important area to watch. So that's why, in general, guys, keep your eyes on this keep your eyes on this territory. Let's see which way this is going to break out to. But if we do get this pop to the upside, then we need to see a push above the 27,307 zone before getting excited with slightly higher levels. Gold is popping nicely. So this is what I talked about recently in one of my previous videos, and basically gold managed to push above the psychological 1500 level. It's now kind of traveling higher. It seems that it wants to travel higher, and this, to be honest, is kind of working out in tandem with the equity market. So in a way, we're seeing a bit of a risk-off environment right now. So equities are declining, safe havens are rising. So let's see if this can continue pushing further north. And in a way, for us to get comfortable with higher levels on gold, as I mentioned previously, we need to see a push above the 1520 zone, roughly around here, guys, and then we will aim for higher levels. Because for now, in a way, it could travel a little bit higher here. It can do the same thing what it did last Friday. Fail to reach the 1520 and then reverse and slide back down. So that's why be very careful here, guys. For now, we're going to remain neutral here and just continue observing the price action. With the downside, we'll only get comfortable with lower areas if we start seeing a drop back below this this downside line here. In a way, actually, we could even start ignoring this downside line, because we can see that this line has been violated a few times. So probably let's get rid of it in order kind of not to confuse ourselves too much here. But how we could play this one out right now is if we see another slide back below the psychological 1500 level and then a drop below the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, which is roughly around the 1496 zone, then yep, we will consider further declines. And in a way, further declines, of course, short-term declines. Initially, we'll target only these recent lows near the 1480 zone, 1482. But then, yep, we could see even more further declines. But again, that's a bit of a slightly off the table for now, because gold, it seems to be willing to move further north. So let's keep an eye on the 1520. But again, as I said, we need to see a push above the 1520 zone before getting excited about higher levels. For now, we're just going to remain neutral and just continue observing the price action. Litecoin, something that I don't look at very often, but it's quite an interesting setup here. So Litecoin basically is forming us something of a potential flag, but a bullish flag, of course, but it's not an ideal one, I would say. So basically, we did have a few kind of shaky moves here. So in a way, how you could play this one out, if we get a nice good push above the this little short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 26th of October, and then we get a push above the 61.32 zone, then yep, it increases the chances of a further move higher. In a way, initially we'll target the highest point of October near the 64.10 zone, roughly around there. But if that fails to withhold, then yep, the next potential target to keep an eye on is around the 67.25 zone. So, but again, in order to consider all these levels, we need to see a push above the 61.30 61.30, let me just double check, 33 territory, somewhere around here. Is that correct? It's 29, well, 30 zone, 61.30. We'll probably round it up a little bit here, because this is never too accurate. So for now, keep your eyes on this potential formation. Also, what could happen here is that if, let's say, it doesn't travel higher and decides to get a hold up, or not doesn't decide, but gets a hold up near the downside resistance line, it could in a way travel back down, and it could be forming us somewhat of a falling wedge. Now this is also a bullish pattern, but could take a bit more time until we could get that break here. But if we do get that break, still we are keeping an eye on the 61.30 zone. A nice good pop above this could lead towards higher levels. Jumping into a few pairs now very quickly. USD-CAD. Now this is a probably much clearer flag formation here, bullish flag formation, of course. So we do have our nice pole here, and this sideways activity here is kind of confirming this flag formation. The only thing is that for us to examine higher levels, we would need to see a push above the 1.3185 zone and also above this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and only then we will aim for higher levels, because again, we've seen this happening several times where we do have a bullish flag, but we do get a sharp, let's say, drop lower first. It takes out a few traders here, and then this decides to reverse back to the upside. So that's why for now, be very careful. Probably, like I said, avoid doing anything with this one. But if we start seeing a push above the 1.3185, this increases the chances of a further move higher. The only thing is that we're not going to target too high levels that are too high. We'll aim for the 1.3240 zone first, and then we'll take it from there. See what he wants to do after. If he wants to travel higher, wonderful for the bulls. But if it stalls around here, we could see a bit of retracement. So for now, guys, the main level to watch for the upside, as I said, and let me just quickly highlight that for our future reference, and that's the 1.3185 zone. So let's keep an eye on that one. There we go. In terms of the downside, yes, I do have a breakout here level at 1.3145, but this is going to be probably a very short-term one, and to be honest, it could be a bit of a risky one, because for those who are less risky, you could in a way just keep an eye on the 1.31 zone. And if we see a drop below this could lead back down towards the 1.3036 or even below that. The 1.3145 zone here is for those who like to be a bit more excited, or should I say a bit more risky. But the only thing is, the only problem with this, guys, is of course you need to have your stop loss in place, because if it drops below the 1.3145, it's not guaranteed that this could continue driving lower, because this could just have a false breakout and then a quick reversal back to the upside. So that's why a stop loss here would be quite important. So keep your eyes on this one. So let's see how this is going to play out. Let's see if this potential bullish flag formation can work out. But again, as I said, for us to get a little bit more excited with the upside, even though we do have a bullish flag formation, still the break of above the 1.3185, that's what we need to see first before targeting slightly higher levels. GBP Euro, I talked about this one this morning. It's a bit of the other way around a little bit from the Euro GBP, but basically what I wanted to show you here is a nice it was a nice triangle formation here, which today got broken to the upside. And also what I was saying, that in order for us to get excited about higher levels, ideally we would like to see a push above the 1.1615 zone, and this is what we've got. So we did get that push higher, but as you can see, the rate got held here near the R2, which is around the 1.1626, roughly around there. So in a way, for now, what we're going to do here is we are going to keep an eye on this next potential target of ours at 1.1658 zone. So that's basically the highest point of October. I doubt that we will end up reaching that one today, but if we do, then keep your eyes on a new all-time high, or sorry, not the all-time high, but a new high for the month of October. Initially, it would be quite interesting to see if the pound could rally, but probably there's not much that could drive it today. It's quite quiet, I would say, and but unless something comes out in regards to Brexit, so this is what could kind of give a boost here to the pound. But for now, it seems that it most likely will stay below this, or should I say the 1.1658 will remain the highest point of October. But again, let's see how that's going to play out. Even if it travels a little bit higher, it probably could struggle maybe to break above this unless there are some news coming out today, some around Brexit. So keep your eyes on that one. GBPCHF, another interesting pair, and it's quite similar to GBPJPY that I talked about this morning, and because let me just explain you why. Because of this little pattern right here. So this is not the full pattern. This is just a downside line for now, and the other one is right here. So basically, we do have ourselves a nice veg here, or in a way triangle, or whatever you want to call this, because in a way for a triangle, yes, I mean it's a very flattish kind of, let's say, very prolonged triangle here. So that's why probably more of a veg here. But the only thing is that it's neither it's a symmetrical veg, so it's neither a bullish or bearish. So basically in this situation here, you just need to wait for confirmation breakthrough one of the levels before getting excited about a further directional move. So in a way, with the upside, a push above the 1.2828 zone here could do the trick here for more buyers, and we could see this one traveling to the upside. And of course, on a drop below the 1.2740 zone could open the path towards lower areas. So that's why, guys, for now, keep your eyes on this one. Keep your eyes on the potential breakout zone here, or breakout zones. So that's why, in a way, if it doesn't do anything today, maybe it could start off with a bang tomorrow, or let's say the month of November. So that's why, guys, it's a very interesting pair, a very interesting setup right here, and wait for that explosion here, either to the upside or to the down, a drop to the downside. So let's see which way this is going to break out. For now, we're neutral because it would be a little bit too risky to make a call here. Euro USD, the last one for this session. Now then, after having a nice, I kind of would say a nice potential, or should I say in general, a nice potential to move higher. It did have an opportunity to move higher today. You can see that it failed to reach the October high near the 1.1183 and kind of drifted lower, but still remains above this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 18th of October. So after breaking this one to the upside yesterday, it's still, now it's testing it from underneath, oh sorry, from above. And the big question here is, will this line act as a nice trampoline here for euro dollar, from which it could bounce and push to the upside again? For now, we would say, as long as it remains above that line, we will stay somewhat positive. But once it starts dropping below this, and if we see, for example, a daily candle close here, a daily close below this downside line, well, to be honest, it increases the chances of a further move lower here. And maybe we could even see this pair revisiting its recent lows, or should I say the lows of this week. But again, for now, be very careful, guys. Let's see how this day is going to end, and how tomorrow's trading activity will start. Because for now, of course, if it remains trading above this downside line, yes, there is still a chance for the bulls here to push this one higher. But if it starts dropping, if we see a daily close below this downside line, then, well, in a way, this could drift further south here. And the big question here, will we see further declines tomorrow? And if we see, let's say, a strong move lower up until the 1.1070 zone, around there, then basically this could this would bring the pair back to the levels where it started off this week. So it will be quite interesting to see. Very interesting developments happening here in euro dollar. So let's see which way this is going to end up. For now, we are more bullish than bearish on this one, but we will stay like this as long as it remains, as long as it stays above this downside line. If it drops lower, then, well, I mean, change of plans. It could be change of plans a little bit here. Okay, guys, thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, that's 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a beautiful evening, guys. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and, well, if you had enough trading for today, don't overtrade. Never overtrade, guys, and yep, better leave it for tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.